This deliberations for the Planning Commission hearing on December 14, 2020. During deliberations, Planning Commission members review cases and take action by voting. There is no participation by applicants or the public. And I was reading that from May.
From May, that's okay. All right, we'll get started. We will do cases in order with the exception of number 1. We'll do that last. That way Kimberly can get her evening started earlier than ours. So we'll start with case number 2. Case number 2, 75 Hoyt Place, Brighton Cemetery, to designate the landmark status of structures and the grounds of Brighton Cemetery, which is located within the city of Rochester, and action requiring city planning commission approval. Need a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second, all right. Mr. Marlin, and seconded by Mr. Flowers. All right, discussion?
I really appreciate, I love all the history here, but I really appreciate how they tied it to what's going to happen now. Like, great, you get status, then what? And there's this educational piece that's tying into the community at large. I think that's a great use of the space, and it's a wonderful use of the designation.
Completely agree. The space is obviously not going to be reused for something else, so we might as well help enhance it and maintain it and preserve it. We don't want it to be abandoned again. We want it to be yet another jewel in the Rochester crown.
Oh, that's right. Totally agree.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think I was really surprised. I never knew what was at the end of that road before. I've seen the road. I never went down there. So it was nice to see what they had at the end of it. All right. Any other discussion? Any other concerns?
No, this is an easy one, honestly.
Well, let's see what the vote says. So what the vote says.
Before you vote, can you just quickly go through the 3 requirements the Planning Commission has to go over when designating a landmark?
Is that on page 1?
Correct. Yep, right under code compliance.
Yep. Okay. Number 1, the proposed designation will be in harmony with the city's comprehensive plan and overall planning program of the city. I think definitely yes.
Yes.
The proposed designation will not adversely impact the growth and development of the city. No.
Nope.
No.
I think it'll enhance it. 3, the proposed designation will not adversely impact any scheduled public improvement or renewal project. And I would say no, because it's not public and it's not renewal.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, not a problem. Keep me on my toes. I appreciate that. All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of designating 75 Hoyt Place as a landmark status, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carrie Carroll.
Red Flower, aye.
Eugenio Marlin? Yep.
Aye.
Milton Pichardo, aye.
Dave Watson, aye. And
Okay.
I think that's it. That's 7 or 6-0.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. All right, we'll have case number. Anything else, Anna?
Yeah, I'm just going to say it for the record. But Tom, can you keep me on my toes? When there's one person absent, is it 610 or how does that work?
It's 600.
Okay. All right. So by a vote of 600, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. All right, case number 3, 85 Jacob Street, R1 low density residential, to expand the previously approved charter school, Rochester Prep, ES number 3, from grades K4 to K8, next requiring city planning commission approval. Need a motion?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Clark. And thank you, Mr. Picardo, for second. Okay, discussion?
There will always be a problem with traffic there, no matter what. So I think the best effort is to find a way to manage it. But as Kim says, you have to be purposeful and work hard on it. It's if you leave it up to people picking up the children or dropping off, they'll do whatever. So you have to restrict it in a manner that the only place you can pick up is over here, and see if you can force the traffic in the right direction.
You
I
know,
think
and I also, go ahead.
Oh, please, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that their recommendation of making those one-way streets, I think also helps, that you have the buses on one side and then you have the cars on the other side and out front. I think that'll really make a difference in reducing the car bus interaction and
Right.
increase them being able to get in and out in a reasonable manner.
Right.
I was going to add that I think that was partially what both Kimberly and I were driving at, was they have these new plans, but let's just really emphasize you've got to enforce the plan. If you just leave it up to the parents, they're kind of, I'm focused on getting little Johnny picked up or dropped off at the fastest, most expeditious, safest way, which as unique individuals doesn't always translate to the group dynamic. So
Correct.
I definitely think they need to address that signage issue as well. I mean, I appreciate that they tried to control the flow by, putting up signage, but if it's in direct contradiction to the legal street signage, that just creates more chaos. So I would make that one of the conditions of approval if we do approve.
A condition to improve the signage and also to improve the
It
number.
would, explicitly to remove any contradictory signage, regardless of what they prefer to do. If it's, contraindicated by what the actual law is, get rid of it.
Okay.
And then clarify those one ways and the explicit spots, etc.
I know that in the past we've had, I think I can't remember if it was Maple Street or another street where we had a school that they had teachers and staff out at the drop-off area helping to monitor and get people in and out, or getting students in and out of the building, which would be potentially another way. If they have separate starting times, those staff would potentially be available. Again, make that, I don't know if we make it a recommendation, but encourage them to look at that as an option to make that recommendation come true.
Yeah, I hate to ask anything more of educators, to be honest, particularly at this time. But I think if they can find a way, at least in the first few weeks of school, as people develop habits, if they just get into the habit of this is how it works,
right.
That could be very helpful.
And if I have to go around the block once, I have to go around the block once to be able to make that happen.
Just a clarification on, I don't think they're proposing to make either street one way, regulated is being one way, except they were calling it pseudo one way. Like they would prescribe that their buses come in one direction, and cars come in on the other street in one direction, but that they wouldn't be, because I don't even know if they could or could get it, get authorization from the city to actually turn those into one-way streets.
Okay, yeah, I guess I was just under the misimpression that they would be one way, but I guess that's not the case.
No.
They called it pseudo one way, that they would, during the school loading sessions.
Right. Yeah, make them as one way as possible.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't have a problem with that either. Okay. All right. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this is more of an operation, I guess, question. And in case any of you guys know, when she mentioned if someone have an emergency, let's say one of those properties that are going to be blocked temporarily by the buses, are those buses always have someone inside, or I don't know if anyone knows that, of those buses left there for sometimes, and that I don't know how long is the time. Here, when I was reading, it says it about 8 minutes. 7 buses, it takes 8 minutes, but someone, I'm assuming, is going to be there for the entire time. So I don't see why would that be a problem when it comes to an emergency. I just want to address it because someone said it. So just for the record, so it's only going to be there for 8 minutes, right?
Well, again, I would assume that the bus drivers are not allowed to leave their buses while they're in the process of picking up or delivering kids. I don't know that, but again, I would assume that if there was an emergency, there wouldn't be any problem with getting the buses moved because the driver was not there.
Right. That was my only concern. I don't know when they park, they could go out and smoke or whatever, you know, I don't know if they could do something. Okay. All right. No, I just more of a for the record type of thing.
Okay, I understand.
Well, I have a question as well about the staggering of the schools. Obviously solves a huge chunk of this problem. However, that was already supposed to happen and it didn't. So essentially there's no mechanism that ensures it'll happen again. I mean, it's entirely possible that wherever they're planning to move to, that falls through, so they don't move. So what happens if we approve this based on the idea that those staggered start times and the two differences of schools are going to solve the issue, and then that doesn't materialize? Is there some, I know in other permitting situations, we do like a 3-year temporary or something to that effect. And there is language in here suggesting a review annually. Is there some kind of conditional approval that we could put in place so that if for some reason the schools aren't staggered, this remains, you know, it's 900 students this year and then it's 1,200 the following year because they continue to grow and the separation didn't occur? Can we conditional it in some way to ensure that this doesn't become a nightmare? I mean, parking is always kind of a pain with schools. But.
You can do that. You can condition, you know, limit the maximum number of students. That's what the board did 4 years ago. They said if you go above 493, I think it is, you have to come back for another special permit. You could also condition it, since it's part of the application, it's not really conditioning it, but that this is an enforceable term of the special permit, that you'll stagger the timing of the buses in the schools as you've indicated you would. And therefore, if they didn't do that, that would be a violative event of their special permit and the city could issue tickets.
Could we have them notify the zoning of their staggering plan and how it has been enforced?
Yeah, you could. I mean, they kind of lay it out already, but
you know, if they say that they're going to stagger the classes or the schools, then they need to show that they have done so on a timely basis or a regular basis in order to meet the guidelines for the special permit.
I think there might be a part of that that's in that the conditional, the annual reporting that they agreed to and that the county reviewed.
Okay.
But
I'm going to use this pause. I guess I was thinking at first that seeker should be done before the vote, but now I'm thinking that we should be doing it before the deliberations. That way we can close the application. So we should conduct our seeker now to close the application and then hold the deliberations.
Anna, I think it's all right to do it the way we're doing it because we're talking about things that are pretty essential to the negative deck or negative determination of significance. So I think it's all right to do it as you started doing it.
Okay. Right, any other discussions or any other concerns that you have regarding this application other than what Carrie has mentioned?
You're muted, Kim.
Can't hear Kim.
Say again, Eugenio.
Eugenio is keeping us all on track today by letting each of us know in turn when we have muted ourselves. Kimberly was making, yes, we can hear you, Kimberly.
I'm like double muted. I had to be on my phone because of my computer. Now it's like I'm not used to it. Anyway, thank you. But I was just going to say, I concur with Carrie. I think that's obvious. But in addition, I'm particularly sensitive to the neighbors' comments. Even if it's infrequent, 1 block driveway on the day you're trying to get to work or the day you do have an emergency is the only day that it matters. And so I think it's a particularly significant concern. And I agree that it should be a 1-year or temporary or strongly conditional. I have no, I was really unenthused by the skyrocketing enrollment when there was a condition on their previous permit to limit capacity at 490. 490 versus 864 is pretty significant increase. It doesn't give me confidence that what restrictions we place on their permit will be honored in the future. So I think it's really important that we're strict about that and that we don't necessarily just kind of allow that, I guess, to continue. Although I am very much a rule follower, so that's my nature. But yeah, so if they don't have a mechanism to enforce, we need a mechanism to enforce.
Now, would you be willing to support like a 2-year special permit, and that would allow them to get from a 5th grade to a 6th grade in those 2 years, and see how that impacts the parking, the transportation, because they said that they're going to phase in over 4 years to get to grade 8. So if you say
Right.
a 2-year special permit, that gives them a time to get the 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, evaluate how that impact. If you say, even if they only use 25% of that 800 and something, the first 2 years, or 50% the first 2 years, that'll give them a chance to see how that operates within their system and what they need to do in order to tweak it.
Commissioner Watson, can I jump in for a second?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't forget too, one of the things that I haven't heard anybody mention is that there is also the conditions that have been proposed by the applicant. And so one of their conditions was to reassess the parking situation and their enrollment situation if it were to increase by more than 50 students. And so that might be the means to take a look and, you know, the trouble with a temporary permit for a charter school is that you're potentially limiting their growth by attaching onto the condition that the applicant has proposed. You provide the opportunity to continue to grow, but acknowledging that they're going to evaluate every additional 50 students, the traffic situation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would take a look at, and Anna, maybe you can bring up the conditions that were proposed by the applicant and also Mr. Penwarden's response to that.
Sure.
Was that in the memorandum?
Yes, I'll pull it up for everyone.
Okay.
I guess what Anna's looking for that. Do we know if there's any potential grant or things like that that maybe they won't get because they have restrictions on I know schools and sometimes get grant, but I don't think if we put a restriction or condition, it wouldn't affect any of that, right? It's more like
We're not proposing a condition that is beyond what they said they would do.
Right.
okay.
But with the 50 students, with the conditional 50 students.
Right.
Well, that's just that they would study it when they would assess what the traffic system's doing. And then if it wasn't functioning properly, then they would have to propose some system to remediate it. And
Right, and that what I'm hearing from Planning Commission, that seems to be a bit of the concern is the traffic and how is the applicant going to ensure that traffic is dealt with appropriately. The other thing to keep in mind too is that, you know, in an urban setting, our schools are all located in neighborhoods. And so I would argue almost every single neighborhood you've got to figure out, okay, what's that sweet spot for transportation and you know, neighbors and school and how do you work that out? And so this could be a thing, you know, their proposal is to evaluate it when it's increased more than 50 students to keep a check on that.
Okay, we have it listed up on the screen now.
is that big enough that anyone can read it?
And enhance it a little more, Anna.
1 second.
Okay, that's better.
But we also need what the applicant proposed.
Okay, I will go to that right now. So this is their, oh wait, excuse me. This is their alternative parking plan. Here we are. Suggested conditions. Let me know when you need me to move around.
Is there any way you can make it bigger?
Right, just like the other one, like before.
Okay.
Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, any comments, concerns? Carrie, does this address what you were talking about?
There's a lot of data collection here. I don't see a lot of actionable items.
Okay.
So keep going to page 2.
Thanks, Tom. So what planning commission could do is you could say, we accept all the conditions, suggested conditions from the applicant, and would want this, if this is something you wanted to do, and also include the comments from Mr. Penwarden to supplement those conditions.
Yeah, that would make, and actually bullet point 2 here is kind of the point, although I might strike significant, but I don't want to henpeck the text.
How about material?
I could live with that.
Anna, do you have that?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that you would want that the suggested conditions of the approval as stated by the applicant in their 12-9 letter, you'd want those to be upheld, but you're swapping significant for material. And Jill, what did you say about
that wasn't the decision made.
Oh, okay.
But it was thinking it through. But then you want to also look at what Brent, our traffic engineer, proposed.
Yeah, I would, bullet 3 there needs to be amended. And I think Brent, your traffic gentleman, also mentioned the signage needs to be amended, not to be consistent with the school's policies, but with both the school's policies and the law on the street. The school cannot just dictate by fiat that parking is only on one side of the street, or, you know, buses are not allowed on this road, etc., by putting up a sign. Or if they can, I need to put in a sign order. I'm going to wreak havoc on my own street.
Yeah.
Only green cars.
Can we also require that they spell buses with only one S, B-U-S-E-S? That was really bugging me.
Oh, Kimberly and I are going to get along so well.
You know, I have to tell you, I didn't notice that.
Oh, I had to Google. I think in England, it's a permissible spelling, but in American English, it was not.
We got a picky one here, huh?
I know. They have colored my whole impression of the application.
Harding.
But you know what? That's the life we live, right? We have to be very particular.
Yes.
So let's I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. So you're looking to conditions supplied by the applicant and edit them to include the suggested changes from Mr. Penwarden. And then also update number 3 to talk about signage. Did I get all that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
The signage stuff is already in their conditions, in that it says they have to cooperate with the traffic control board. So that's what prevents them from putting stuff up that's
Not legitimate.
not authorized.
Okay.
No, it has not prevented them thus far.
Agree.
Right, but now we have it it will be a condition
Condition of
if you
the
approve
special
Yeah.
permit.
Can we specify to say including but not limited to updating their signage to be consistent with the traffic control board rules
Yeah.
or something?
I think we can.
Can and will.
Okay.
Anna, did you
I
catch
told
all
you guys
that?
you would started to
Yeah.
get comfortable.
The reason why I'm pausing is, isn't the traffic control board, aren't they just, they need to, it's not that they just need to review and approve the signage, but they're not, it's not that there's like, I don't know, I guess I'm getting hung up. Never mind, it's fine. Yeah, so what I have so far is that the submission supplied by the applicant to include the Monroe County DOT comment, which is those 2 items on the next page. And then are we editing this number 3, or we're just specifically calling it out?
I think just calling it out.
Okay.
You okay with that, Carrie?
Yeah, I was frowning because this bullet in and of itself is fine, but it doesn't address the other MCDOT comment that there's existing signage that is not consistent with traffic law.
I would say that that the signage needs to be approved by the TCB.
Perfect.
So that way they can't pull anything that doesn't go along with the program.
Exactly. And TCB is most effectively positioned to say, hey, by the way, this sign isn't going to work because.
This is what you need to use, or this is how you can word it. Okay. Okay, Anna, you got that?
Got that.
All right, any other concerns that we haven't addressed? I think those are some good ones. I think that provides some continuity, some teeth, some structure, and I think answer some of the questions that we have about the vehicles, being emergency parked, and I think we'll see how that goes. All right, any other discussion?
One question before
Yes, sir.
we go there. We're not talking about temporary here.
No,
Okay.
no, because based on what they said that they want to do, what we've said that we want them to do, I think
Sure.
covers that. We don't need to make it temporary.
Yeah. No. I agree. No temporary.
Okay, yeah. All right, any other discussion?
Don't vote until you do seeker.
I thought we did seeker.
Those-
Oh, okay,
Oh,
Anna,
we have to-
help us
I'd like
out,
to
Anna.
propose that we do seeker.
All right, let's do that.
1 second. Okay, so one note about this form is that we all are quite used to checking boxes. And there's always been this space for additional information that I would recommend that if there's any issue in here that's like a point of contention or something that needs to be like to demonstrate that we've thought it through, we could provide a little bit of a narrative in here just to show that we, in fact, we're being thoughtful about that determination. So just as we go through these notes, if there's anything that needs to be extended on the next page, we can do so.
Okay.
With that being said, number 1,
No.
No.
Oh,
number
Can you
2.
zoom in?
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. I have like this giant screen, so I'm not thinking, I'm in a different point of perspective than you all are.
Anna, would you also send a copy of this out again? I like to have it so that I can kind of go through on my own.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a copy, there's currently one in all of the staff reports, but I'll send one separately too. All of the staff reports that needed seeker to be done.
Mhm.
Number 2.
No,
No.
no,
Number 3.
nope,
no,
Number 4.
nope,
No.
no,
Number 5.
No.
not current. No,
Number 6.
No.
no,
Number 7. A.
A7A,
No.
Number 7B.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Number 8,
No.
No.
number 9,
No.
Nope.
number 10,
No.
No.
Nope.
number 11.
No.
Nope.
And then in regards to if it will result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure, do you guys mind just giving me a sentence or two as how you came to that decision?
You can actually quote Jill's comment earlier that in an urban environment, all schools are in neighborhoods. And
Right.
so this is a issue that we address.
Or looked at.
Okay, great. And I will just, if there's anything else from the conversation from this deliberations from the recording, I'll go back and add that in if there's anything else that's crucial. All right. With that being said, the seeker is completed and you guys can resume your vote.
All right. And I will add that to the ones that I bring to you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor of expanding the previously charter school from K4 to K8 at 85 Jacob Street, all those in favor?
Carol, aye.
Are you including the conditions?
Well, yeah,
Check it out.
as stated with the conditions. Carol, yes.
Aye.
Brad Flower, aye.
Eugenio Marlin, aye.
Milton Pichardo, aye.
Kim Harding, aye.
Emily? And Dave Watson, aye. Thank you.
Okay, so by a vote of 600, the motion it is approved on conditions. Specifically, the conditions are that the submission supplied by the applicant shall be upheld, also to include the Monroe County Department of Transportation, and that the signage needs to be approved by the Traffic Control Board.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. We'll move on to case number 4. Case number 4, 277 to 279 Alexander Street to install 3 additional antenna to an existing 9-antenna personal wireless telecommunication facility on an elevator penthouse at the Medical Arts Building. Next, requiring City Planning Commission approval. In the motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Carrie.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. All right, discussion?
Excellent use of the space.
Yes.
It was
Absolutely.
almost invisible. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Can't even see it.
I had to look really hard to see the ones that were already out there.
Me too, yeah.
All right, any other concerns, any other discussion?
Nope.
None.
Hearing none. All right, all those in favor of installing 3 additional antenna on existing 9-antenna facility at 277, 279 Alexander Street. All those in favor?
Carol, aye.
Thank you.
Brad Flower, aye.
Kim Harding, aye.
Eugenio Marlin, aye.
Milton Pichardo, aye.
Dave Watson, aye.
Oh,
Got that,
I'm
Anna?
sorry.
I know we moved a little fast.
I was just recovering from the last one.
Welcome back.
I have here by a vote of 600, the motion passes.
Thank you. I know we're giving you whiplash tonight.
I'm just used to having 2-item agendas, I suppose.
Oh, I know. Yep. Then case number 5. All right. 30 to 34 Millbank Street to establish a residential care facility in a building constructed as a convent, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. Need a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Brad.
Second.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Marlin.
This will never get old.
I know.
Okay, discussion?
I'm super happy that they're so engaged in the community, and they've solicited feedback. They're flexible to do all this stuff. It seems like a very wonderfully driven purpose. That's a great use. Again, great use for the space. Fits well within the character of the site itself, and fits well in the community.
Yeah, and recidivism is a huge problem with our prison systems and our jail systems. So anything we can do to break that cycle by getting people community support and engagement and that kind of social structure is a huge differentiator between people who are successfully brought back into communities and those who just wind up back in jail. So huge need, great organization.
Yes.
I see lots of good stuff.
I think a good history of success as well.
Right.
Oh, no, I guess I just want to make sure I wasn't speaking out of line, Anna, when I said that we don't normally condition who goes on boards. That's not something that we could do.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I'm seeing a nod from Tom Worth.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't speaking out of line because I know historically we don't. That's left up to them. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can recommend. You can recommend in the decision that they consider it. So the decision letter that Anna writes up, she could say, "Hey, Planning Commission chatted about this. Perhaps you want to think about this."
And again, I think basically I wouldn't do that because the applicant said that they'd be more than willing to do what they had decided that they would like to do.
Perfect.
So we'll let them take care of that.
What do you think about the other conditions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go through all those other conditions before they feel that they are tied to those conditions.
Oh, okay. We can do that.
Yeah, didn't they say they were receptive to all the conditions though? With the exception of the hours of the office, they wanted to expand that 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or something instead.
Yeah, I would suggest that we do that, give them permission to extend their hours from 8 to 6.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do we need to give them that permission? Don't they have permit, or are there, restrictions in that district with respect to their hours of operation?
No, there aren't, but as a special, in issuing a special permit, you have the authority to put conditions on that run beyond
normal,
the general conditions in order to mitigate potential impacts. So like this is the R1 district and they're kind of having an office use with some of their personnel there. So it's all right to limit the hours.
Yeah, and these were conditions proposed by the neighborhood association that sort of oversees that R1 district. Since the neighborhood proposed them and the applicant embraced them, include the language.
It feels a little like an overregulation. Like, they're willing to do it. I'm not sure we need to condition it. And I'll just note that the current operation at Sojourner House currently operates 9 to 5, and we haven't heard any issue with respect to those hours. So I don't, if they're willing to expand them on their own, obviously we wouldn't stop them, but making it a condition that they could ultimately end up violating if that doesn't work feels a little onerous.
Yeah, my issue is that they may accept them only because that is a way to be in the neighborhood, in a peacefully manner, right? And we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to prohibit them from expanding them. I just don't want to require them to operate.
I'm with you.
So are you saying unconditionally approve or approve with the conditions except for the hours, or?
I had unconditional approval. And again, wouldn't prohibit them from engaging in any of the actions that were recommended by the neighborhood association. And I think there's good reason for them to do that. And maybe consistent with Jill's suggestion, make a recommendation that they adopt the neighborhood association's conditions so that the neighborhood association also feels that we heard them. But this is a small nonprofit that's very eager, and I hate to let them regulate themselves into restrictions
Yeah.
that they might later not want.
Here's the problem with self-regulation. A special permit is an approval for that use, no matter what, who the applicant is. Like it can transfer to another operator. So
then I guess, so how does that not operate here, given the consistent use with Sojourner House?
it operated here because they had different uses. Like they were moving some office personnel from another place, and that the legal circumstances changed because they don't no longer need a use variance to have that use. It's specially permitted. Before, you could have a special permit for residential care facility, but it was only in a single family house you could do that. And they changed the law to allow it in multi-residence like this one.
Okay, I think that makes sense, but I still prefer the recommendation as opposed to the condition. Just not that anyone needs my.
We hear you. Okay, is everybody okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I am too. All right, any other concerns? So Anna, you have that?
So what I have is that it's approved, and then you're going to be making the recommendation to adopt, or you're recommending I'll be using the same language of the conditions of the neighborhood association, but only as a recommendation.
Yes, and without the limit on the hours, because we feel that the hours of operation should be what they were requesting, the 9 to 5, I think. Was it 9 to 5?
No, 8 to
6.
8 o'clock, right? 8 to 6.
8 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that one exception, Anna.
Understood.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Any other concerns? All right. All those in favor of establishing a residential care facility at 34 Millbank Street. All those in favor?
Aye. Carol?
Thank you.
Flower, aye.
Harding, aye.
Eugenio, aye.
Milton Pichardo, aye.
Dave Watson, aye.
All right, by a vote of 6-0-0, the motion passes.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. We have one final one that we will let Kimberly go off into the sunset. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in January, maybe.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks. All right, case number 1, Tobit Street, to amend the official map of Rochester by amending 0.534 acre portion of Tobit Street at the northern section of the parcel at Morse Lumber to utilize the parcel for lumber storage. An act requiring city planning recommendation to city council. Motion?
Second.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Marlin. Thank you, Carrie. All right.
Harry, I'm high-fiving you.
You're right, Brad. It never gets old.
I know.
All right, discussion?
I love this friendly competition.
I think obviously a good recommendation. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised that was considered a through street.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All the times that I've gone there I volunteer with Habitat, and I go there to pick up lumber on occasions, and I never assumed that it wasn't their property to begin with. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, my only concern was I managed to miss that it wasn't the entire street, it was the back end, but yeah, back end, like you said, it looks like it's theirs already.
Sure, oh yeah, it is, because they use it as if it is.
Yeah,
Got like a
take it,
build on
go,
it a little bit.
legalize it.
All right, any other concerns, any other additions?
Nope.
All right, so all those in favor of amending the official map of Rochester at Tobridge Street, all those in favor?
Aye. Carol?
Aye, Flower.
Eugenio, aye.
Milton, aye.
And Dave Watson, aye.
All right, by a vote record of 600, the CPC recommends
Five.
approval.
No,
Five
this
zero
is
zero.
510, right?
510? Oh,
And one recuse.
One abstain, yes.
okay.
Oh, wait, I wrote the,
No, it's not a 1 because there was no denial.
Yeah,
It's 5-0.
Okay.
There-
it's,
501.
it's 500 because
Yeah,
the
5-0.
person didn't abstain.
Oh, you're
They
right.
were not present, they recused.
Okay, recused, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh.
500.
Okay. All right. That being said, our deliberations are at an end. I want to thank everybody so much.
Happy
And,
holidays, everyone.
You all
Yeah.
have a great
Happy holidays.
holiday season.
Happy
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 holidays.
holidays, everyone.